Good morning, students. Today we are going to start a new chapter from paper first, which is named as conic sections, okay, and which is a very interesting and essential chapter from mathematics, okay. And this is the chapter which contains some geometric diagrams also, and which are very easy. And if you understand those diagrams, then you will understand the concepts of conic sections. Okay, so the name of the chapter is conic sections. So let us see first what is mean by cone, then conic sections we will see. Now you are familiar with the shape, this shape. Okay, the base is a circular base, just like one. Okay, so this diagram is called as a cone. Okay, and if we have diagram is there already, but I want to show you how to draw this one, that is how to construct this one. The diagram is in front of you, but the diagram is drawn in this way. First draw these two lines and then their circular bases. Okay, so if there are two circular cones which are exactly opposite to each other, these are called as right circular cones. Okay, then these cones, that right circular cones, means they are exactly opposite to each other. Okay, and these two parts, these two different parts here you can see in the diagram, are known as nappings, isn't it? The base is circular base. Okay, and these two lines, which are these two lines, intersecting lines, these lines are called as axes. Okay, wherever the cone meet each other or intersect each other, that point is called as vertex, which is denoted by V. What it is known as a vertex, isn't it? Which is denoted by V. And these axes, these two lines which are known as axes, can be generated to infinity. Okay, and here if we draw a line which is perpendicular to the vertex, okay, which is, sorry, these two lines are known as generators. These two lines are known as generators, and the line this middle line which connects the centers of the two circles. Okay, this line is called as axis. This line is called as axis, and this axis is passing through the vertex V. Okay, so here these are the basic terms of the right circular cones. These two lines, these two lines are known as generators because they generate the cone. Okay, and these two curves are known as nappies. And together this diagram is called as double right circular cone because they are exactly opposite to each other, and the line which is perpendicular to the vertex and passing through it and connect these two centers is called as uh, axis of the right circular cones, isn't it? And here we want to study what is mean by conic section. These are the cones. Now what mean by conic sections? So you know those, section means what? A part, isn't it? Now, in a very simple language, parts obtained from a cone. Parts obtained from a cone are called as conic sections, isn't it? But how to define it in mathematical language? So here, and which parts are there and how we can find out those parts from the cone. So here, if we take a plane, okay, if we take a plane and if we take intersection of the plane with the cones, if we take intersection of the plane with the cone, then according to the intersection we get different parts. Okay, so if the plane cuts the given circular cone like this in this direction, then the part of the cone obtained, okay, this part is called as a conic section, and that conic section here we named them after which in which they cut the cone. But in this diagram it is already named there. This part is called as parabola. So you can see there shape of the parabola is like this one. Okay. Now if you see here, if the plane is perpendicular, that is if the plane intersects the cone perpendicularly, then the section obtained here, look at this one, a circle. So this is the second part of the cone or a section obtained due to the intersection of a plane with a cone, isn't it? If we slightly move this plane, okay, in this way, that is if it is not perpendicular to the, if we slightly move it in downward direction, and if we take the intersection of this plane with the cone, then the section obtained, okay, which is like a geoid shape, which like seems like circle, but it is not a circle, then that part is called as an ellipse. Okay, so ellipse is just like this one. Okay, it is not a circle, and one part obtained is called as circle. So these are the three different parts, and there is one more part which we obtained by the intersection of the plane with the circular cone, that is if the plane intersects both the parts of the right circular cone, that is upper part and lower part at the same time, that is vertically, then the section obtained due to the intersection, okay, then the section obtained due to the intersection, here two parts we get there, actually two parts, okay, as like this one here, this is the one part and exactly opposite to the base another part, same one but opposite to each other. So these parts are known as hyperbola. Okay, and these are again sections of the cone, therefore they are known as conic sections. हे बघा विद्यार्थ्यांनो, कोनिक सेक्शन म्हणजे काय, तर कोन जो आहे हा तुम्हाला इथे दिसतो, हे दोन कोन, त्यांना आपण डबल राईट सर्क्युलर कोन म्हणतो. या कोन बरोबर जर आपण प्लेनचे वेगवेगळ्या अँगलनी इंटरसेक्शन घेतले तर ती प्लेन त्या कोनला ज्या शेप मध्ये इंटरसेक्ट करते त्या पार्टला किंवा त्या शेपला किंवा त्या सेक्शनला तो कोनाचा सेक्शन आहे म्हणून त्याला कोनिक सेक्शन असे म्हणतो. परंतु हे जे सेक्शन्स आपण घेतलेले आहेत यांच्या काही पर्टिक्युलर प्रॉपर्टीज आहेत, यांचे काही कॅरेक्टरिस्टिक्स आहेत आणि त्यांच्यामुळे आपल्याला खूप सारा यूज होतो इंजिनिअरिंगमध्ये, फिजिक्समध्ये, मॅथमॅटिक्समध्ये. काय यूज होतो त्यांचा, तर तुम्ही जर हा पॅराबोलाचा कर्व बघता इथे हा पहिलावाला, तर तुम्ही म्हणाल की पॅराबोलाचा काय उपयोग होतो? तर तुमच्या असं लक्षात येईल की आपण जे व्हेकलचे बल्ब्स असतात ते तुम्ही नीट बघा, ते या टाईपचे असतात, थोडेसे फुगीर असतात बाहेरची काच त्यांची. लक्षात येते का सर्वांच्या? आठवा तुम्ही नीट. तर त्याने काय होतं की लाईट हा जो आहे तो डिस्पर्स होतो, एकाच लाईन मध्ये जात नाही. जर काच ही तशी नसेल तर ते प्रकाश एकाच लाईन मध्ये जाईल, पण त्या पॅराबोलिक शेपमुळे काय होतो, तो डिस्पर्स होतो. म्हणून इथे पॅराबोलाचा इतका मोठा उपयोग केला जातो. असे आणखीन सारे उपयोग आहेत त्याचे वेगवेगळ्या फील्डमध्ये, जसं की प्लॅनेटरी मोशन्स मध्ये उपयोग होतो, टेलिस्कोप्स मध्ये होतो, डिझाईन्स ऑफ टेलिस्कोप, अँटिनाज रिफ्लेक्शन इन फ्लॅश लाईट, ऑटोमोबाईल हेडलाईट्स, कन्स्ट्रक्शन ऑफ ब्रिज, नेव्हिगेशन. आता कन्स्ट्रक्शन ऑफ ब्रिजेस तुम्ही जर बघितलं, ब्रिजचा शेप कसा असतो नेहमी, ब्रिज जेव्हा तुम्ही बघता तर ब्रिजचे शेप कसे असतात? असे असतात. कोणताही बघा, जे हायवेवरती आपण जो दुसरा रोड केलेला असतो, जो खाली गर्दी टाळण्यासाठी आपण जो ओव्हर ब्रिज बनवतो, त्याचा शेप बघा. नदीवरचा ब्रिज बघा, त्यांचे शेप कधी सरळ नसतात, असे पसरट, ते नेहमी असे असतात. हे तुमच्या लक्षात आलं असेल. तर इथे सगळीकडे ते उपयोग केला जातो. आता तुम्ही म्हणाल की इलिप्सचा उपयोग, सर्कल तर तुम्हाला माहितीच आहे सर्कलचे उपयोग, पण इलिप्सचा उपयोग कुठं केला जातो? तुम्हाला माहिती आहे की इलिप्सचा शेप तुम्ही नीट बघा असा आहे, आणि आपल्या पृथ्वीचा शेपही जवळपास असाच आहे. तर आपण ह्याला जे सॅटेलाइट्स वगैरे लॉन्च करतो, तर ते सॅटेलाइट लॉन्च करण्यासाठी ह्या इलिप्टिकल ऑर्बिटचा आपण उपयोग करतो. तर मग तिथे इलिप्सचा आधार घेऊनच आपण ते सॅटेलाइट लॉन्च करतो, आणि तिथे ते स्थिरवण्यासाठी ह्या इक्वेशनची, इलेक्ट्रिकल ऑर्बिटची मदत होते. म्हणजे इथे म्हटले ना की प्लॅनेटरी मोशन्स मध्ये त्याचा यूज होतो, तर ते. आणि दुसरं काय आहे आता, नेव्हिगेशन. तर हा जो हायपरबोला आहे, हायपरबोलाचा जो उपयोग आहे, तर नेव्हीमध्ये नेव्हिगेशन म्हणजे काय की जहाज जेव्हा समुद्रामध्ये असतात किंवा युद्ध चालू असतं किंवा जहाज, कोणतंही जहाज समुद्रामध्ये असेल, तर त्याच्यावरती एक ऑब्जेक्ट असा ठेवलेला असतो, एक पार्ट असा असतो की तो तुम्हाला बऱ्याच दूर अंतरावर जर काही ऑब्स्टॅकल असेल, म्हणजे काही अडचण असेल, तर त्याची खूप पूर्व सूचना अगोदर मिळते. म्हणजे कोणती हालचाल असेल शत्रू पक्षाकडून किंवा काय असेल, तर ते त्यांना नेव्हिगेट करता येतं. तर ह्याला म्हणतात नेव्हिगेशन. आणि तिथं उपयोग कुणाचा केला जातो? तसे ऑब्जेक्ट टार्गेट करण्यासाठी किंवा आयडेंटिफाय करण्यासाठी तर हायपरबोलाचा उपयोग केला जातो. म्हणून तुम्हाला असं वाटून देऊ नका की हे कोनिक सेक्शन आपण कशासाठी शिकतोय, तर हे खूप इम्पॉर्टंट आहे. परंतु काय होतं की ह्याचे जे ऍप्लिकेशन्स आहेत हे आपण नंतर शिकतो, पण त्याची पूर्व तयारी, जसं तुम्ही गुणाकार भागाकार शिकण्यासाठी आधी बेरीज वजाबाकी शिकता, तसं हे अगोदर आपल्याला ज्ञान आकलन करून घ्यायचं आहे. म्हणून थोडंसं लक्ष द्या. एकदा का तुम्हाला हे पार्ट्स लक्षात आले की पुढचं त्यांचे इक्वेशन्स फक्त आपल्याला डिराईव्ह करायचे आहेत आणि काही प्रॉब्लेम सॉल्व्ह करायचे आहेत, जे की मग आणखीन सोपं बनून जाईल. ह्याच्यात तुम्हाला इंटरेस्ट आला की ते आपोआप जमेल. आणि जमलं, ज्या मुलांना इंजिनिअरिंग या फील्डमध्ये इंटरेस्ट आहे त्या मुलांनी ह्या डायग्राम ड्रॉ करून बघितल्या किंवा अगदीच खरोखर तसे कोण बनवून प्लेनचे सेक्शन्स घेऊन ते कट करून बघितलं, तर तुम्हाला अगदी तशी शेप मिळू शकतील. तर ते करून बघा. आता आपली ही शेजारची डायग्राम बघा, इकडची. नाव लुक ॲट धिस डायग्राम. इंटरसेक्टिंग लाईन्स. Here, these are the different planes shown here, and their intersecting lines are shown there. Okay. Now here, okay. So here, if you look at this figure, then this one, these are the generators. This is the axis. Okay. These are the these two are the generators. This is the axis, and there are two planes. One is shown with a blackish gray color background, and one is only with dotted lines, these one, isn't it? So the intersection of the planes is given there, isn't it? And with the help of these one we can find out the different parts of the conic section. So let us see one more part or diagram here. we have the cones 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So here you can see there in the first diagram which figure you can see, and in second one this one is first one is circle, second one is ellipse, third one is parabola, and fourth one is hyperbola. Two curves of hyperbola we obtain, and this obtained due to the vertical intersection of the plane with the double right circular cone. Okay, so these are the different parts of the cone. You can see, you can follow the our textbook and you will get the exact idea about it. So let us try to see. Now here we want to our first concept is that our axis which is passing through the vertex, okay, and this is the generator, one generator, okay, and this generator makes an angle with the axis. That angle is called as theta, okay, and this fixed point which is known as vertex, okay, which is known as vertex, and here this angle theta which is obtained due to the intersection of the line which is known as generator and the axis of the double right circular cone, okay, and these are two naps. Here the line L is called as axis which is at this one, okay, and if we rotate this line with this axis, then it generates the cone. If we rotate in this way, then we get a, or it generates the cone, and the vertex we separate the cone in two parts called as nappes. Now let us see what is meant by a conic section. Actually the definition. So before this one you have learned about a chapter that is locus. Locus means what? Due to which we get the position or location of the point P in the plane. Okay. Now here the locus word is very important to define a conic section. So how to define a conic section? A conic section or a conic can be defined as, okay, let us see here, can be defined as the locus, can be defined as the locus of a point P in a plane such that the ratio of its distance, means distance of point P from a fixed line to its distance from, here we can change there, the ratio of its distance from a fixed point to its distance from a fixed line is always constant. Now let us see, I repeat it again, conic section is defined as the locus of a point P, the locus of a point P in a plane such that the ratio of its distance, means ratio of point P from a fixed point to to its distance from a fixed line is always constant. Now you are thinking, that is, you may think that what is mean by that fixed point and what is mean by that fixed line and what is that constant ratio, okay, and where will be the point P and how we get that locus. So let us consider randomly take a point P, okay. There is a fixed point, say S, okay, and there is a fixed line, say L. So here point P is any point in the plane. Its distance from a fixed point, which is denoted by S. These notations are fixed throughout the chapter, okay. So try to remember them as it is. And there is a fixed line which is called as D here. Okay, and this is the perpendicular distance, okay, because distance is always calculated or considered the perpendicular distance between any two points. So it is not the condition, it is a necessary thing, it is already there. And S is any fixed point, okay. Now let us see again, I want to repeat it. We have a point P in the plane, okay, such that the ratio of its distance, ratio means what? Its distance from fixed point is SP and its distance from a fixed line D, which is a perpendicular distance, is PM. Hence, the ratio of its distance from a fixed point S to its distance from a fixed line D is always constant. That is, here SP upon PM is equal to constant. Means what? If we consider any point on this locus anywhere, suppose here, then this distance and this perpendicular distance again have the same ratio, that is constant ratio, and it is again same one for everywhere. If we take that point anywhere, then we get the same ratio, that is SP upon PM is equal to constant, and that constant also same for these locus, okay, and that locus is called as cone or conic section, is called as conic section. So remember this one. So this is very easy to understand. I want to explain you again. Here, if we have a point in a plane such that here Pxy, then its locus is called as conic section if the ratio of its distance from a fixed point S to its distance from a fixed line D is constant. Okay. Now what is mean? That is, these constants or fixed point or fixed line are named as, here the fixed point S is called as, these are the very important terminologies and we are going to use throughout the chapter, so remember these one very carefully. This fixed point S is called as focus. That fixed line D, denoted by either capital D or small d, is known as directrix. You can pronounce it directrix also. And the fixed ratio, that is SP as to PM, which is called as eccentricity, which is denoted by simply E. And this fixed ratio SP upon PM, since these are the distances, therefore this ratio is always greater than 0. Okay. Now This ratio we obtained SP is equal to PM is equal to some constant because the shapes of the parabola, ellipse or hyperbola are not the regular shapes. Hence we get the some constant of for this ratio because these shapes are not regular shapes. There is some irregularity occurs between their in their shapes. So I repeat it again that fixed point is called as focus, fixed line is called as directrix, and the fixed or constant ratio is called as eccentricity of the conic section, which is denoted by E. Hence we can write the ratio SP by PM is equal to E. Now if we compare this value of E with 1, then we get 3 different conic sections. Okay. So here in first case, let us compare here. In first case, if this ratio SP upon PM is equal to 1, okay, then or we can write in this way. If E is equal to 1, then the conic section obtained is called as parabola. Okay. Remember this one. If the eccentricity is 1, then the conic section obtained is called as parabola. Now if this ratio SP by PM is equal to E, which is less than 1, then the conic section obtained is called as an ellipse. Remember this one. And last one, either equal to 1 or less than 1, and the last one is very good, greater than 1. So third condition should be there. SP upon PM is equal to E, and if it is greater than 1, that is here, if E is greater than 1, then the section or conic section obtained is known as hyperbola. Isn't it? So remember there, if E is equal to 1, then the conic section obtained is called as parabola. If E is less than 1, then the conic section obtained is called ellipse, and if greater than 1, then the conic section obtained is called as hyperbola. So the conic sections depends on the value of the eccentricity E. If it is 1, then conic section obtained is parabola. If it is less than 1, then the conic section obtained is called as ellipse, and if it is greater than 1, then hyperbola. Now tell me, if SP by PM is equal to 0, then what happened? That is, there is no eccentricity, and if there is no eccentricity means we have a regular shape, and that shape is called as circle. For the circle, eccentricity E is equal to 0. Remember this one very clearly. For the circle, eccentricity E is equal to 0. And I have already mentioned you, SP by PM is greater than 0 because it is ratio of distances, and this distance is always positive. Therefore, it is greater than 0. Now here, to study these conic sections, that is, we are going to learn 3 conic sections, as you can see there. Here, parabola, ellipse and hyperbola. Because about the circle you have already learned, you have already studied. Here we want to learn about only parabola, ellipse and hyperbola. So I want to tell you one more thing. Eccentricity means what? Eccentricity म्हणजे तुम्हाला माहिती पृथ्वीचा आकार हा दिसतो गोल पण ती गोल नाही असं म्हणतो की नाही आपण. तो एक जिवट शेप आहे म्हणजे थोडस वेगळी चपटी अशी म्हणतात तिला. तर तसंच हे पॅराबोला, इलिप्स आणि हायपरबोला मध्ये प्रकार आहे. इलिप्स तसाच आहे थोडासा. तर मग त्याच्यात जो वेगळेपणा आहे, जो सर्क्युलर पार्ट नाही म्हणजे तो रेग्युलर नाही शेप दिसत, मग त्याला एक तरेवाईकपणा म्हणतो आपण. एक्सेंट्रिसिटीचा अर्थ म्हणजे काय? विक्षिप्तपणा, तरेवाईकपणा. मग ते वेगळेपणा काय येतो तर तो जो वेगळेपणा आहे त्या शेप मधला तो कशाने कॅल्क्युलेट केला जातो? एक्सेंट्रिसिटीने कॅल्क्युलेट केला जातो. आणि मग ती एक्सेंट्रिसिटी जी आहे ती कम्पेअर केली. तुम्हाला तसं माहिती आहे ई हा एक युनिव्हर्सल कॉन्स्टंट आहे, त्याची व्हॅल्यू आहे 2.71 समथिंग काहीतरी, अशी खूप मोठी व्हॅल्यू. नंतर डेसिमल पॉईंट आपण देतो, डेसिमल पॉईंटच्या नंतर सॉरी. परंतु एवढी त्याची व्हॅल्यू सुरुवातीची आहे. परंतु ते इथे घेतलेली जी व्हॅल्यू आहे वी कम्पेअर्ड इट विथ 1 दॅट इज आयदर इक्वल टू 1 ऑर लेस दॅन 1 ऑर ग्रेटर दॅन 1. ओके, म्हणजे किती त्याची एक्सेंट्रिसिटी भरते असते त्याच्यावरून ते शेप्स मिळवलेले आहेत. तर आता तुम्हाला महत्वाचं काय आहे आता इथे की फिक्स्ड पॉइंट S, फिक्स्ड लाईन D and constant ratio E. Fixed point is called as focus, fixed line is called as directrix and constant ratio is called as eccentricity. Remember these one very well. Okay, these are the very important terms. Now after definition of the conic section, there are some terminologies which are related to these conic sections and which are very important when we derive the standard equations of the conic section. So the part of the conic section is that, if you remember that we have defined now, there is any point P in the plane of fixed point S and this fixed line D, and this is the perpendicular distance. P is any point. Okay, now here the first term which is very important is that axis of the conic. Now what is mean by axis of the conic? Axis of the conic means a line about which the curve of the conic is symmetric. Here, for example, I want to show you this one. This is a diagram of parabola, and if we look at this one carefully, then the curve of parabola equally lies above and below the x-axis. Hence, this line due to which this curve get divided into two equal parts, that line is called as axis. Okay, and here it is also known as axis of symmetry also, because this due to this axis the curve get intersected or divided into two symmetric parts, therefore it is also known as axis of symmetry, or in simple way the line about which the curve is symmetric is called as axis or axis of symmetry. Now the second part is that vertex. What is mean by vertex? Now vertex is the point, let us see here, this curve of parabola intersects this axis of symmetry at this point. Okay, this point wherever the curve of the parabola or conic section intersects the axis of symmetry, that point is called as vertex of the conic section. Vertex of the conic section. Then next one, focal distance. Now what is mean by focal distance? Let us see what is mean by focal distance. Here you know that there is a fixed point which lies on the axis of symmetry, okay, and a chord or the, and there is a point P xy on the curve of the conic. Then the distance of this point from the focus S is called as focal distance, which is very easy. that is the distance of the point P which lies on the curve. You can take it anywhere, and your distance from the focus is called as focal distance. Now the next one is that focal chord. Now chord, you know this term. In circle you have heard about it. That is a line which joins any two points on the circle is called as chord. Now what is mean by focal chord in case of conic section? Here a chord or the conic, again same one, which joins two parts of the conic and which is passing through the focus. You can see this one here, A, B. This chord which joins two different points is called, and passing through the focus S is called as focal chord AB. Okay. Now latus rectum, fifth one, which is very important. The question may be asked in exam, find the length of the latus rectum. So try to remember, which is very easy. What is mean by latus rectum? Which is a focal chord, but which has one property. Which is that property? A focal chord which is perpendicular to the axis of symmetry. Now we will remove this chord AB. A focal chord, named it as by another way, C and D, which is perpendicular to the axis of symmetry, is called as latus rectum, which is also a focal chord, but it is perpendicular to the axis of symmetry. We have so many focal chords, infinitely many focal chords we have, but latus rectum is only one there, because there is only one line which is passing through the focus and which is perpendicular to the axis of symmetry. So we can have infinitely many focal chords, okay, but the latus rectum is only one. Remember this one. So this is the criteria about this latus rectum. Now center of conic. What is mean by center of conic? Center of conic. Remember this one. The point which bisects every chord of the conic which is passing through it is called the center of the conic. Means, let us see here, as like a diameter in circle, when a diameter we consider, then diameter also a line which get intersected into two equal parts, these equal parts due to the center of the circle. Okay, that line is called as diameter. So center of the conic is the point, okay, due to which every chord of the conic get divided into which get bisects or which get divided into two equal parts due to that point. Okay, that is, if we have these 2 points, then here we can extend this curve here. If these two parts are equal, then this point is called as center of the conic. So remember this one, center of the conic. Double ordinate. What is mean by double ordinate? A chord passing through any point on the conic and perpendicular to the axis is called as double ordinate. Now let us see. You may think that I have told you already, a line or a chord which is passing through the focus and perpendicular to the axis is called as latus rectum. And here I am again telling you the next concept, that is double ordinate. What is mean by double ordinate? A chord or a line which is passing through any point on the conic and perpendicular to the axis. Now here, if we consider this one passing through any point, there is no condition and it is perpendicular to the axis, then it is called as double ordinate. A chord passing through any point. Let us see here. This is a chord, say xy. Okay. Or we can have a D1 because we name the axis by x and y. So here we can take other notation, say S and T. So ST is a chord and which is not passing through the focus but it is perpendicular to the axis, hence it is known as double ordinate. So these are the some terminologies which are related to the conic section and which are very important to understand the conic. So try to remember all these terminologies, and again study. You can watch this video and you can also collect the information from your textbook and reference book, that is a reference book also, or if you have any other information. So do it and have a good day.